Today is May 2010. I'm Jean Richardson, and I'm here with Helen Marine. Thank you so much for doing this for us.
You're most welcome.
You have such knowledge to be with us for a long, long time. Let's teach country school.
Well, I started out in rural school in Iowa in 1941, the fall of 1941. I taught there 2 years. Then, do you want me to go on to the next school?
Do you know what township that was?
It was Iowa County,
Okay.
but it's clear
Did
down
the
here.
school have a name?
Tucker. In Washington County. After 10 years,
40.
no, I think it was, I think 4 years. And then I went back to Daytonville. I'm not pretty sure I have times right. Yeah, let me see that. Oh, this part in high school is where I had training. Normal training in high school.
I've heard a lot about normal training in high school. Tell us something about what that was like. Was it what you did the whole day in high school? Was it just one class you took like you did?
Had various classes that were to education of students. We took school management.
Would you do one class each semester or a class?
Some of them would last maybe a year or two. But, they were all pertaining to how you manage a rural school. And we had a wonderful teacher. Her name was Cecil Miller, Graham Miller. She married a doctor from Wellman. And during our training, we have to meetings every month, and we'd be assigned to and giving us some training and speaking before people on this. And then we had state tests. The state tests were issued in January and then in May. And we knew which tests we were going to be taking beforehand. So in January, the 1 year when the tests were to be given, just on those days.
And did you go someplace special, or was it in the high
did
school?
it right in the high school. And the snow roads were drifted full with snow, and there was no possibility that I could get there, I didn't think. But anyway, I rode with another student that was able to come, I suppose, about a mile from my house. And that was all the farther he could get. So I had to walk. And that, back in those days, there was no, you just had mud roads. And there was no walks, no area, just on the dirt road, and ruts and all, and mud and all. But I finally got over there and met him and got to school and took those tests. Because that would be the only opportunity you could take them.
That was 70 years ago.
Was that?
And you still remember that?
Yeah. I remember walking through those banks and that snow. It was clear up. And then you step in a hole, in the ditch, and you just sink clear enough to your waist crack. Many a time I looked back to the home and thought, I just don't know whether I'm going to be able to make it or not. Or whether I should turn and go back. Anyway, I got there, and one of the other girls that had to walk in those tests, she had, it was so cold, and they got frozen legs, and their fingers.
You were wearing
hands.
skirts.
And it was really quite severe. They postponed them until the weather was favorable. So, you either made it or you didn't make it.
Do you think it was a county mandate or state mandate?
It was a state mandate. Or at least that's what they told
About those classes, were you ever required or having an opportunity to work with children? Always just book work.
Yes, we did. We had an opportunity. It was 6 weeks that we would, before we graduated, we'd go out into, we'd have charge of teaching. And then the teacher that was there was our critic and wrote up our reports and whatever she had to do. So it was.
We had student teaching then too.
Yeah, that was student teaching.
Okay. All right. Okay, you were talking about 1941, then you started teaching, and then you went at Tucker, and then you went to Daytonville, you went to Tucker, back to Daytonville. Why were you going back and forth?
Well, the reason I was at Tucker for 2 years, and I married the president's son.
Oh.
So I told that, I don't know what the community will think, but if you would like, I'll just look elsewhere for a job. Because I didn't want, problems. I had problems with the neighborhood. Because they had hired me, and then I was teacher, And then I left there and I went to Daytonville. And everybody back in those days didn't want to marry a teacher because she'd get pregnant. She'd get pregnant, and then there wouldn't be any possibility.
They couldn't work.
They couldn't work. They wouldn't fulfill their job. So I have right here some of my contracts that I have. Things that were written. This one on the back of this one is I hereby agree to supervise school. I hereby agree to program which I hereby agree to allow $10 a month term, and then see if I come fulfill it. Then I hereby agree to draw my salary in salary of $112.
So some Mhm.
I stayed the entire year. I will receive a $10 bonus at the end of the term for each month. See? So they were holding out $10 a month just in case. And
the term was the whole 9 months.
the school term was 9 months. So then they'd and I'll supervise school. It was, and um, our rural schools, all you had was a record player, you know, and you had certain songs on those records that you had to teach the children. And then when it come time for school programs and things, and it was Christmas, generally I had a parent in my district that would come and help with the children when they were having practice with the songs. Because I was not a singer.
Did you play the piano?
No.
A piano.
My mother played. I had 6 lessons, and I had appendicitis and had ectotomy when I was just starting. And after that, I never got started back. So I knew where middle C was.
Okay, I got you off track. You were at Tucker and Daytonville, and Tucker and Daytonville. Then what happened?
And with the daughter. And they came and asked me if I would teach their school. And I said, well, I was pregnant. They said, that doesn't make any difference to us. We need a teacher, and we'd be happy to have you. So I then went to Greene Valley. And
When you went back to Tucker, you were actually acting. Okay.
I went to I was and then I went back to Tucker and Greene, and then back to Daytonville. After that, I stayed home 3 years when my daughter was after went to Daytonville, I had the neighbor carry the water, get in the coal, all the fuel that was necessary for the next day, and put it around the furnace so it was handy. And then when I had these furnaces, the children sometimes would bring soup. They wanted it warmed, you know, we could put it in oil and put it up on the furnace, and then they could have a baked potato if they wanted. So we used it for keeping food warm too. That was a big job.
So in the morning, you really didn't have any time to get your children for school day.
No,
for
first you had to get fuel, and then you had to go get your water, and then after you get all those things, well, then you got started on what you had to get on top of and assignments.
Tell us about some of your school hobbies, like physics.
The first one was school, how it, most of them did. Probably you would have where they wouldn't because we just had a rural community. When